On today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV, it's a bacon, mushroom, spinach, and Swiss cheese frittata. An easy dish, great for breakfast or lunch or any time at all. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. Now today we're going to be making a frittata. What's a frittata? Frittata is a really great and simple egg dish. It's kind of like an omelette or perhaps like a quiche without the crust. It's something that's easy to make, it's versatile like all of my recipes, and it's just plain old delicious. So let's get started. Our frittata today is going to have bacon, mushrooms, spinach, and Swiss cheese in it. Now the first step is we need to cook down our bacon. I have here a pound of bacon that I've just cut into what you would call lardoons. They're just little slices. And we're just going to cook all of this down. Now this seems like a lot in this pan, but that's okay because this is all going to cook down, it's going to render all of its fat, and we want to cook it down until it's all nice and crispy. Now this is going to take a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10. Frittatas are really great. Like I said, you can flavor them with anything. You can put whatever you want in them. You can have meats or cheeses, all vegetables. And they're also very versatile. They can be served for breakfast or lunch or even dinner. They can be served hot or cold. It's all up to you, and it's limited only by your imagination. Now, I tend to make these a lot. They're especially good when you have crowds of people to serve and you need something easy and quick. So I just made this very same frittata this past weekend for a crowd of people while we were camping up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. And I do it at least 2 or 3 times a month. Always a big hit. Okay, the bacon is almost done. It's getting nice and brown and crispy, which is what we want, and a lot of the fat is rendered out. So in fact, I think I'm going to start pulling this bacon out of here. Alrighty, almost there. Down a little bit. Next step will be the mushrooms, and we're going to be devils, and we're going to cook the mushrooms right in all of this lovely bacon fat. Okay, that will do. In they go. Lower the flame just a little. Now again, you just want to saute these until they're cooked down. And this is a package, 10-ounce package of white mushrooms. You can use cremini mushrooms or whatever you like. So these will just take a few more minutes to cook down. Okay, these are right about where I want them. Now I'm cooking these all down first because I want the water to evaporate from them. If you put raw mushrooms or any raw vegetable into your frittata, when it cooks, it's going to release its water and then you'll have a runny, wet frittata that doesn't set up. So you really want to cook everything first. Okay, now I'm going to drain these off. Just pour these all back in this bowl. I have here 1 package of frozen chopped spinach that I just thawed and drained. So I'm going to put that in the pan. I want to dry it out just a little bit first. And as always with spinach, lots of salt and pepper. Alrighty. Back go some mushrooms. Now you may not need the whole package, it's entirely up to you how much you want to put in. And some of the bacon. Okay. Next is our eggs. I have here a dozen farm fresh eggs that I've just whisked up with a little splash of milk and some salt and pepper. And we're just going to pour this right into our hot pan. All right. Get rid of this. Now I'm going to leave this on the heat for just a moment for the bottom to set up. You see why this is kind of like an omelet. And the residual heat in your pan will just cook that bottom layer of it pretty instantly. So you can go ahead and turn your burner off at this point. Now, traditionally these are cooked low and slow in a big cast iron skillet over a very low flame. But we're going to do it a little differently. I'm going to put this in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. Okay, into the oven. Now, like I said, my oven is at 350 degrees. It's going to take 10 minutes, 12 minutes. It depends on your oven. Keep an eye on it. What you'll see is that it's going to puff up, and you want to cook it until it's no longer jiggling and firm. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to go clear the decks. Well, it's been 15 minutes, and as you can see here, our frittata is out of the oven. It's lovely golden and puffy. It's cooked all the way through. So now we're just going to unmold it. And that is why I use today my nonstick pan and not my cast iron that you always see. And this is still hot. So, okay. There we have it. Now about the cheese. I'm going to sprinkle the cheese on top now. You could mix some of it in the eggs when you put it in the pan. I just like to sprinkle it on top because it's pretty. So what will we eat this with? Like I said earlier, you could have this for breakfast with some buttermilk biscuits or English muffins or toast. You could have it for lunch with a salad. And serving it is just as simple as cutting a pie. And that's all we're going to do is cut this into eighths. Just like that. Okay. And here is a lovely little breakfast. Or a lunch, or maybe even a first course for a dinner. Now, I can't wait, so I'm just going to take a little taste right now before we do the whole sit-down thing like we normally do. That's really good. You get all the bacon and the cheese and the mushrooms, and the spinach gives it a nice texture and color. So that is our bacon, mushroom, spinach, and cheese frittata. Oh, right. So, as always, we'll put the recipe for our frittata up in the YouTube video description. And we want to hear how you would flavor your frittata. What would you put in it? Now, ask us any questions you want. Let us know what you think of the episode. Hit that like button and subscribe. More importantly, you can find us at our new custom URL, youtube.com/Let's Celebrate TV. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Peter Lee. Cheers.